Hi, and welcome to Wednesday. I'm Shelley Whitehead with the Owatonna Today Show. Thanks so much for joining us right here on Charter Channel 8, where you can see us 6 days a week. And the great thing is if for some reason you cannot catch us on Charter, you can always find us on the internet. We are on blip.tv as well as YouTube. We've got our own channel. And also, you can get us on Facebook. When you like us on Facebook, Leanne does upload the most recent episode right to your newsfeed. So it's a great way for you to see what's going on in your community. Like today, I'm so excited about the show. We're going to be talking with Eric Rathmeyer a little bit about the host ordinance. So if you've heard about this but don't quite know what it means, we're going to give you some details on that. As well as Melanie Nelson and talking about the EPIS fundraiser. We want to make sure you hear about that and find out an amazing story about someone, a local Owatonna girl who's living her life's dream. So make sure you stay with us. And like those two stories, we're always looking for interesting things we can bring to the Owatonna Today Show. So if you've got an idea of something that's going on with you, your family, your organization, please let us know. It's Owatonna Today at charter.net, or you can call us at 390-5751 and let us know what you'd like to see on the show. We'll see what we can do. It can be a great time. Stick with us. We're going to be talking with Eric Rathmeyer right after this. See you then.
I'm Dan Branstad of Carlson Branstad & Company, Certified Public Accountants. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
Greetings, I'm Laura Ressler, Director of the Steele County Historical Society, and I welcome you to our History Center. We invite you to join in all our activities, events, where we honor the past and look towards the future.
And we are back. We have in the studio with us Eric Rathmeyer. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we love that you're here with us because I'm so fascinated. We've been talking a little bit off air and just a really fascinating conversation. But if you don't mind first, introduce yourself for us.
Sure. I'm Eric Rathmeyer. I'm a captain with the Owatonna Police Department. I am the commander of our detective bureau, so I work with our detectives.
So you do a lot of investigating.
That's all we do. And do presentations like this.
Yes, and so we're going to talk about this a little bit. I want to start with the social host ordinance. Tell me a little bit about the history and what it really is about.
Historically, when we were taking enforcement actions on people who had been underage drinking or drinking underage, there's really never anything or accountability for a host, if you will, a homeowner, a party host, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
There was no accountability for them, so they could have the party. And nothing would happen to them, but the underage drinkers, of course, we would take enforcement action against. So this ordinance was created to hold the host of the actual party responsible for the event themselves.
Define host for me, because I know that there is a difference between, you have to actually know that the party is taking place? Is that how it works, or how does it work?
You have to reasonably know that the party is taking place. You don't necessarily have to be there, but if
you don't have to have planned it.
That's correct. But if you have a reasonable knowledge that an event is going to take place at your home, because more often than not it's children or underage people that are doing it, have this gathering, and you don't take the reasonable efforts to make sure this doesn't happen, then you can be held responsible for that.
What is the reasoning behind this ordinance? Why follow up with this?
Oftentimes we find that people would, again, there was no accountability for them to have the party. So in order to help alleviate the parties from happening in the first place, because sometimes things take place that you don't expect are going to happen in the first place. So things get out of control, but if you don't take the reasonable steps to make sure that they don't happen, we can hold, or the court can hold somebody responsible for hosting that party.
I think that's so smart because, oftentimes we think we know our kids. They'll be responsible. They've never done anything like this, any bad things before.
Correct.
But once you start getting those substances involved in that situation, it really can get out of control probably quickly.
It really can, yeah. And maybe not your kids, but the people you have over there might take it beyond what's reasonable.
And part of it isn't even just the damage. You're thinking life situations. Kids' lives are in stake.
Correct. They got to get home somehow, and oftentimes, once you've been drinking, you don't have the best cognitive reasoning, and you make bad decisions. And that's when tragedies happen. That's what we're trying to prevent from taking
those
place.
Tragedies. And so part of that, you said that we've actually seen, this was enacted in 2012?
Yes.
And then how has it affected those kind of citations that you've been giving out?
Or a real small sample size we're working with, but in 2012 we took enforcement action 6 times. Last year we've only taken it 2 times, and so far this year we haven't taken any enforcement action. So the ordinance is on the books, and I think people are starting to get it, that they have a knowledge that it's there, and so they are being responsible and taking those reasonable steps so we don't have the violations take place.
Because what is fascinating is I love that it's reasonable, because even if you know you're going to be away from the home and you know there might be that possibility, maybe they have a neighbor come over, or
Correct.
do that one extra step they may not have done before to avoid this kind of situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just to kind of keep, again, those kids safe.
Correct.
This is a great segue into prom season and graduation season. So talk to me a little bit about some of the things that the community has brought forward and law enforcement involved in that to help.
They have, absolutely. We want to keep our kids safe. And prom season is coming up. Owatonna's is this weekend. I think Ellendale, Heartland, Geneva, theirs was last weekend. But Owatonna specifically has a great program after prom, or it's called After Prom. Invite kids to go to after prom so they're in a safe environment. And they don't get put in these situations where you might be tempted to do something that's going to end up being illegal. So we highly recommend the kids to take advantage of after prom.
Yeah, and this is an amazing thing that they do with after prom, because they give incentives for the kids to stay.
To stay the entire time.
The
That's
entire
correct.
time, because I know they have a policy if a kid leaves, they cannot come back, and all
Correct.
those kind of things.
Yep.
But also they do give away amazing prizes.
Right at the end of the night, and if you're
Yeah.
not there, you don't win. So
Yeah.
that's the encouragement for kids to stick around.
And they throughout the night they can win stuff too, but at the very end there's some really big fun stuff.
Yes.
And then they
Yep.
have entertainment, and
Yep.
they keep the kids busy. They don't just sit in the gym. There's all sorts of things for them to
It's
do.
a great event. I'm going to
Yeah.
be there dealing cards, so
Oh,
I'm looking
well, I'll
forward
see
to
you
it.
there,
It's going to be
'cause
fun.
I'll be doing henna, so I'll henna you. Can I henna your head?
Yes.
No, you won't let me. He said yes! He said yes! I have it on film. You're in trouble now.
I'm in trouble.
So, have you seen, because you've been with the force for a while, after prom itself, I'm not sure how long it's been along, but have you seen a difference in maybe fatalities or injuries with kids getting in trouble after
Well, thankfully,
proms?
we haven't any fatalities, but yeah, we have seen a difference.
Yeah.
When I first started, we'd have prom night would be a pretty busy night for us.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, we'd gear up for it. But since after prom has been enacted, or it's started, if you will, it's a pretty low-key night for us.
Yeah,
You
good.
know, we're out and about, and we'll keep the kids safe as much as we can. But it's really nice having them in one spot where you know where they're at.
Well, and you get to deal cards. I mean,
That's
what
right.
more- what more could you ask for?
Absolutely.
So I want to talk about another thing that we wanted to talk about, maybe cover a little bit today, is some illegal substances that we're seeing a rise of in our area.
Sure.
We love to think that Owatonna is the perfectly safe town with nothing bad ever happens. That's not always true.
I wish I could say that, but it's not.
Yeah, and so we try preventative measures, and I wanted to talk with our audience today a little bit about being aware of some of the situations that are going on. So tell me a little bit about some of the struggles that we're having in the Owatonna area and how we as citizens can maybe help with those.
Well, the most prevalent thing we're seeing right now is prescription drug usage, and that leads to abuse, and that leads to criminal activity. We'll see a lot of thefts taking place of prescriptions and burglaries too.
You were telling me about
where
that.
a house will get broken into, and the only thing missing is prescription drugs, and it's all related to the drug usage. The unfortunate thing is the prescription drugs are not always really easy to get.
And they're very expensive.
They're
you
very
mentioned,
expensive, yep. And that leads as a gateway into more serious street drugs, and specifically we're talking about heroin.
So they start off with a street drug, a prescription drug that they got from somebody else. It's an illegally prescribed drug
It's legally correct. Yep.
to someone.
Yep. Typically a painkiller.
They get that illegally because if you
Yep.
even if you take your parents' drugs, is that illegal?
That would be illegal. Yes.
So even knowing that is very important.
Correct.
So what can we do to make sure that maybe we are keeping this out of the hands of kids that really should not be
Yeah,
having?
well, we have a great program at the Law Enforcement Center, and it's countywide, the Take It to the Box program, where you take your unused medications. It can be done anonymously. You don't have to fill out a form or anything like that. You just drop into our office in the lobby there, and there's a box, and you drop off your prescription medications,
Yeah.
and then they're disposed of.
And what prescription medications should people consider dropping off?
Every one of them.
Yeah.
Everyone could probably be abused in some facet.
Because they are made to alter something.
Correct. It's a
That's
chemical
what-
made
yeah.
it creates a side effect, which unfortunately causes sometimes a high or something like that, but it's addictive. So.
And then how long should you keep it? I know sometimes we're like, well, what if I need this someday?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's that mentality that we have. But when you do have a prescription, how do you decide when it's time to let it go?
That's really a tough question to answer.
Maybe something you can talk to your medical professional about.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, to make sure that because keeping all those doesn't help anybody.
No.
And if somebody does break into your home, you actually can cause harm by having them there.
Absolutely. Typically, when we see a burglary take place like that, we have a pretty good idea why it took place, and it's because they knew that there's drugs in the house, especially when that's the only thing that's missing.
Yeah, that is crazy. So we were talking a little bit about, there's also been an increase of, we talked about meth a little bit. Mm-hmm. This is something, there's that TV show that really made it very popular to talk about it, but not really understand it. And for a while we saw meth labs pretty prevalent, but those have kind of gone to the wayside.
Well, Minnesota came out with legislation which is really great towards eradicating methamphetamine labs, if you will, mm-hmm. when the precursors that make meth, you just couldn't simply buy over the counter like you could before. Pretty much ended a lot of the labs that we were seeing. Unfortunately now, the drug couriers or the cartel or whatever you want to call them mm-hmm. realize that. They came up with a different idea, and now a lot of it's coming out of Mexico, where it's unregulated.
Yeah. So we don't, that's kind of one of the fears we have when kids are ingesting these illegal street drugs is we have no idea what's in them.
Correct.
No, there's no way to tell.
No, meth is it's chemicals. It's chemical composition. There's lye in it. They use lithium batteries. I mean, all kinds of stuff that mm-hmm. you just don't want to go out and have for dinner. I
don't like batteries for dinner.
It's all bad stuff, yeah. But you'll ingest it as a drug, and it just has terrible, terrible side effects to it.
And so we talked a little bit about, again, what can we do as viewers to do that? And you mentioned that if you know somebody who has a chemical smell, that maybe they might need some help.
Correct. That's one of the things we notice when people are using meth. You talk to them, interview them, you can smell it. Somebody's still high on it. Mm-hmm. Very easy to see if they are, but they'll have, they will have a chemically smell to them. Mm-hmm. Yes. And,
we just had a prime example in Waseco. If you see something weird, call it in. And is that the same kind of concept when you talk about drugs and that kind of thing?
Oh, absolutely. Say something, see something. It's a term that's being used by the Crime Prevention Association of Minnesota. See something, say something. A lot of times that's where we get our best information from is from citizens who report it to us. Absolutely. It's a great way for community policing.
You mentioned that high traffic, if somebody's high traffic in the home, that kind of thing.
When we're talking about drugs, yeah, a lot of times our initial information comes from a neighbor who says, hey, the house next door to us, there's people coming and going all hours of the day, just there for real short periods of time. So yeah, that's one of our great sources of information.
Well, thank you. It was fascinating talking to you. I really appreciate
Thanks
it
for having me.
Thank you for coming. And we will be right back. Stay with us.
When using a fire extinguisher, we suggest using the pass system. Pull the pin at the top of the extinguisher that keeps the handle from being accidentally pressed. Aim the nozzle toward the base of the fire. Squeeze the handle to discharge the extinguisher. If you release the handle, the discharge will stop. Sweep the nozzle back and forth at the base of the fire. After the fire appears to be out, watch it carefully since it may reignite. If you have the slightest doubt about whether or not to fight the fire, get out and close the door behind you. This has been a safety message from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Did you know that it is illegal in the city of Owatonna to host or allow a gathering where minors will be consuming alcoholic beverages on your property or in your residence? Did you know that it is illegal to provide minors with alcohol unless they are your own kids in your own home? Underage drinking leads to increased risk of future chemical dependency, engaging in more serious criminal activity, and becoming a victim of a crime. Please help keep our kids and our community safe by not encouraging, hosting, or allowing underage drinking. This is a message from the Owatonna Police Department and the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition of Steele County.
Hi, I'm Glenn Mager.
And I'm Tim Thomas of the Brick Mager Funeral Home, and we're proud to serve the Medford and Owatonna areas with cremation and traditional funeral services.
And we're proud to be a part of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, this is Barry Gillespie, president of ERA Gillespie Real Estate, where our pledge is to save you money, save you time, and simplify your life. And we're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hello, I'm David Einhaus with the Owatonna Foundation. Thank you to all of our donors who have helped make Owatonna a better place to live. Will you join us today with a financial gift? Owatonna Foundation is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
And we're back with the Owatonna Today Show. It's time for Margolin, Murder and Merlot. I know. Sounds great, doesn't it?
It'll be really fun.
I have it in the studio with me, Melanie Nelson. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great today.
Yeah,
it's
you
a
look
Monday.
so springy in that green. Tell me, let's go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience for you.
Well, I'm Melanie Nelson. I've been here for 35 years. I came as a home ec, a fax teacher, and then started a business, Pineapple Appeal, and then actually You and Me Patterns, Pineapple Appeal, and now Learning Zone Express. We have 16 employees.
Okay.
And I've always loved Karen Anderson and the Anderson family and the Olson family, and anything I can do to support her program in Chile. And there's just been a tragic fire in Valparaiso, 2,000 homes lost, 12,000 homes damaged. So I thought, well, let's do a fundraiser to really help them come back.
Well, let's start from the roots. First of all, this is an Owatonna girl that you're speaking of.
Yes.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about her and her family, so we can kind of know where we're going from there.
Okay. Karen Anderson is the fifth daughter of Sophie and Frank Anderson, and found herself in Chile for the last 32 years. She's been building a program called Education Popular and Salud, which is health education for everybody. And as we all know, with Pinochet's takeover, that's not true for the poor people. There has not been justice or dignity with health. So Karen has built a program where she really educates women and children about this is your right to health. So their activist was saying, I can't get into the clinic. I have to take a number. It takes 4 days to get into a clinic. So they also learn about respiratory infection, breast cancer awareness, nutrition education. They've just written a book on basic how to cook kind of things, all in Spanish. And then they're teaching cooking classes as well, because it's the same people working 2 or 3 jobs that they do here in the U.S. to put food on the table.
Yeah.
So with that program, she does amazing, amazing things. And there's a staff of 12. The money is used very, very cautiously. And we've just opened a program in Kenya. And that is a friend of hers that has a PhD from SUNY in New York. And that program is, again, also empowering Maasai women.
And you're talking, so she's been there for 35 years. She's been doing the same kind of work that entire time, working with women, empowering them. So she's kind of had a long time to create a program that is specific to that culture. Because we were talking a little bit about this. Each culture is different.
Yes.
We have programs here in America to empower women. It's going to be a little bit different. And so she's created a program, and you've told me that she's actually been able to help other organizations use the same programs, same ideas, the same methods she has to kind of help around the world.
Right.
Yeah.
It's called popular education, and you go to the people and you say, what do you really want? It's not the gringos coming in and saying, we really think, that you have to do this. And Haiti, I don't have a lot of admiration for, because, people out of Haiti are entitled at this point, and they're very independent. They've had aid for so long. Whereas, the Chileans are willing and able to work, and this is our country. This is who we are. So how can we make it a better place?
And so, like you said, there was a tragic fire
Yes.
that happened down there. And so they have some great needs. And the specific need is you're looking to help build a modular community center.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, it is, again, in the earthquake that was in February 2010, they really found if they created a community center, and again, this is just a shell of a building, but they buy the folding chairs, they have the dining room table, and people can sit around and talk about, with their neighbors, what are the issues, you have to pick up your trash, or we need a leader here, we need a spokesperson to go talk to the municipality, because we can't do this all by ourselves. So if they work together, and it's just amazing, people lived with no bathrooms, no showers, and just shells like this for 4 years after the earthquake. So we'll see the same thing happening after the fire, but the community center at least gives them a space, to be able to dialogue, because their homes are so small, they can't bring more than 5 people in their homes.
And so the community center itself is going to be open to everyone, not just the programs that she's developed.
Absolutely.
But it's just actually truly for the community to bring it together. So you said after the earthquake that the same concept happened, where there was a community center that was built. Was that destroyed in the fire? Is that what happened, or did they not have it at that time?
You're absolutely right. They did have one.
Okay.
And that was destroyed.
Okay, and so it's actually a rebuilding project of trying
is.
to bring that place together. How much money are you hoping to raise through this fundraiser?
My hope would be 2,000, but I'm hoping for more than that.
Of course.
We have a great lineup. So.
Let's talk about this fundraiser. It's happening Wednesday, May 28th.
Yes, we are.
And where will it be at?
It will be at the Steele County History Center.
Okay.
And the Steele County History Center, as you all know, is a great space. And they have the Holocaust exhibit right now. And then my daughter went to Drake University, and they have a great jazz ensemble, and they're going to Switzerland this summer. And I said, well, I'll pay the $500 to bring them here. So every dime for this fundraiser goes for Chile. Everything is picked up by Melanie and Learning Zone. So that's everything. The ticket prices, everything goes right for the fire relief kind of thing. So they're a great group of kids, and there'll be swing dancers.
Oh, fun!
Yeah,
so we're talking big band music.
Yeah, big band music.
Oh, nice,
yes,
good.
Yeah.
And what else is going to happen at the event? So we're going to have great music, obviously.
Yep. Great music, and then there's this great guy that's going to be in town for the week. His name is Phil Margolin, and he was a defense attorney for 25 years in Portland.
Okay.
And pioneered the battered women syndrome.
What is that?
What happens is that, women, really don't know they're being abused because, their husbands or their significant, they love them so much, but involved in that is some just horrific beatings that go on. And, Phil will share with you, it's not just, it's people right out of GQ.
Yeah.
It's people, all different levels of life that he's defended. So he's had over 30 murder cases. And with that, he decided to start writing legal thrillers. And so that's the kind of books that he writes. And he's very social justice and very, very cause-orientated.
I kind of totally expect you to say very, very adorable at some point. I know you care for him a lot. He's a very dear friend of yours.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's going to come, and what is he going to speak on when he's here?
Well, it's a great book. It's called Worthy Brown's Daughter. So what happens is that this is the first really racist experience that Portland ever had, and race issue that they had. I know we have the KKK here in Owatonna, but in Portland, it's based on a true story, and actually 3 other books came out at the same time, all dealing with this. So they have a panel at bookstores or Powell Books or whatever else, and they put all 4 authors on. But this has been sitting in his drawer for 30 years. So what happened is that a Missouri wealthy man brought a slave family and said out to Oregon and said, I will release you after a year's service. And then he said, I'll let the mom and dad go, but I'm keeping the kids. So with that, the books, writing about that first real case that they had. So his is fictionalized because he had to make it more interesting.
Okay. So he's going to talk about that specific book then.
That specific book, Worthy Brown's Daughter, and hence, Little Professor Bookstore will have some of his books
So if you want to read it ahead of time and have that event.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a cost to come. It is $20 per ticket.
Yes, it is.
And so people will get to hear an amazing jazz band.
Yes.
Get their dance on.
Yeah.
Hear a fascinating speaker. What other things will be happening at that event?
Oh, there'll be good food.
Yes.
You can't be good food and good wine. So that's where the Merlot comes in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then will there be any other ways for people to help raise funds at that evening, at that event?
Well, I do have a place in Greece.
Okay.
And I just, at Big Brothers Big Sisters, was just auctioned off for $8,500.
Oh, okay.
So I know you can get that week in Greece a lot cheaper if you buy a raffle ticket for $10 at this conference or at this event.
So that could be a lot of fun. So, there's going to be raffles there as well.
There'll be raffles as well.
Okay.
And there's more than just Merlot. There's lots of other soft drinks.
Yes.
So
It was a cute name. I liked it. So when is the event again?
It's May 28th on a Wednesday night after a lot of the church events are over, I think, for the year. And Phil is a great speaker. Great sense of humor, great music, and we expect to have a lot of fun.
Good. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your dedication. And where can they get tickets?
You can get those at Little Professor Bookstore, at Tri-M, at the History Center, or you can come into Learning Zone as well. We're right on Vine Street.
Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Amy Martinez.
And I'm Adam Martinez, owners of Snap Fitness in Owatonna.
Snap Fitness is a fast, convenient, and affordable fitness center, and we're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
Everyone deserves opportunities to have a good life, a quality education that leads to a stable job, enough income to support a family through retirement, and good health. But the reality is, many children fall behind, many families are struggling, and many others are in poor health. United Way's goal is to find long-term solutions. Thanks to a grant from the Otto Bremer Foundation, we're hosting community conversations this year to address these issues. If you'd like to join us, please call our office.
Hello, I'm Shawn McNulty. And I'm Deb Gillard with Brookdale Senior Living, Sterling House, and Clarebridge of Owatonna. And we are a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
And we're back with the Owatonna Today Show. Let's take a quick look at some community service announcements. It's the 11th Annual Steele County Senior and Caregiver Expo coming up May 7th at the Four Seasons Center. Keynote speaker is Minnesota-bound host Ron Shara with Raven. They're going to be there from noon to 1. And the event is free, and the parking as well is free. Door prizes are available. There are free wheelchairs and scooters there as well with parking lot shuttles. The expo opens at 1, but at 11 o'clock is the main entrance area. There will be food stands available as well as seating in the West Arena. From noon to 1, of course, is that event with Ron Shara. And then from 1 to 4, you can take pictures with Ron. You can go through 60 informational booths as well as house screenings. There's a MNsure information booth and Ask the Expert booth. And then from 1 to 5, there is a Red Cross blood drive. A lot of great stuff going on, so make sure you head out to the Steele County Senior and Caregiver Expo. If you've got anyone in your life, a family member who's aging, you need to know a little bit more about maybe what services are available, this is a perfect time for you to get out and see what's going on, and maybe meet a beautiful dog as well, because Raven is pretty. Area residents are invited to donate blood at the Owatonna Hospice on Friday, May 9th. It is the season to give blood. At the American Red Cross will be on site from 9 to 3 in the conference room 1484. And to schedule an appointment, call Jenna Herzog at 507-977-2778. You can also give blood other places. We'll talk a little bit about that. It's actually, there's a Owatonna blood drive at St. Joseph's Catholic Church as well. These are going to happen Wednesday, May 14th, Thursday, May 15th, and the 16th. Different times from noon to 6, the first 2, and then from 8 to 1. But if you want more information on when that is, you can always call the Red Cross hotline at 800-733-2767. You know, there's no excuse. If you haven't given blood, you need to try it. There's very few medical reasons why you can't, and it's a great opportunity to save a life, and it seems like 'tis the season, so make sure you get out and do that. The Steele County Historical Society is pleased to welcome back physician and author Dr. Patrick Greenwood of Owatonna for a presentation on Thursday, May 15th at 7 p.m. in the Wenger Room of the History Center. This is one of a series that talks about the Owatonna physicians from the greatest generation. Admission to the lecture is free for Steele County Historical Society members and $2 for non-members. A great opportunity to hear about a little bit more about the wonderful history we have here of medical physicians in Owatonna. And Building Hopes for Homes is a fundraiser for the Habitat for Humanity. This is coming up Friday, May 16th from 7:30 to 9:30 with music, live, and silent auctions, all sorts of fun, and raising funds for our next home build in the Owatonna area. You can get tickets around at the office. Thanks so much for joining us here in the Owatonna Today Show. We'll see you on Friday when we're going to be talking with Lighting Retro Fritz E-Cycling Day and the Alternative Learning Center. So we see you then.